Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Xenogears. I'm Dan.
And I'm Austin.
We are here to play games
In a Xenogear.
in a Xenogear. Yes. Yeah, last time we finished up some of the major story scenes to kind of end the long exposition march of Disc 2 and assessed the situation in the Snowfield hideout, which is the Crash Shavat, and now we are doing things for side quest purposes. Before we kind of head toward the end of this game, we are closing in on the finale. I have done a couple of things since our last episode. I went ahead and got speed shoes, managed to get them on everybody.
Nice.
So, yeah, we're in good shape there. I have gone through with gears and upgraded everybody to the 8,000 fuel engine. And as you can see, I've got a lot of money. No worry, we'll burn through all of that in this episode. And I am over here at the battle arena in Nortune. We got a familiar face here, so I figured we'd open this episode talking to Big Joe here.
Hey, buddy.
That's the jukebox. Hello.
Destruction was poured out onto our entire world. Death poured down on all the living. It was fate, unavoidable fate. Allow me to show you my appreciation for all you've done, fellas. I brought this here from the Wildcat Bar in what was the Imperial capital, Nortune. I also fixed it up a little. It should be a lot more friendlier now, but you'll never know unless you try. So give it a listen, huh? It was hard to get rid of the elegant old grain look it had placed in the Wildcat, but... Well, anyway, don't you think the new faux marble design's kind of groovy?
Groovy indeed.
With a little ow!
Yeah. This is the battle arena here, and it is still open. I do kind of want to go through a couple of the things that you can do here. First of all, you can earn BP. There are two classes of BP. As you can tell, I've been doing some battling here. There is a current BP, and there is a total BP. The reason I'm laboring to go over this, you can get some pretty cool stuff out of here. So, we've got normal item exchange. Normal item exchange is mostly just stuff you can get. There's some consumable items. There's some kind of gear armors. I'll just select the mirror armor here just to demonstrate it. So when you choose a prize, it will tell you what it costs. There's the mirror armor, costs current BP of 1,500. So I'm going to go ahead and grab this. It's just an AR item for the gear. So then if I back out, item exchange menu. Okay, I didn't mean to press that explanation, but yeah. It's essentially explaining the same thing I'm explaining here. So the normal items you can pick up more than once. The rare items you can only get one of, and the rare items are a little more complicated with regards to what they actually cost. So yeah, change my mind. I'm gonna go back, and you can see my current battle points have been reduced by the cost, but the total BP remain unchanged. So when you get battle points for doing things here, you get them in two categories, your current and your total. Rare items, and I'll just go into one of them here just to show you. So like the Faye Jr. doll here, costs 500 current BP and 3,000 total. So you have to pay from both categories to get it.
That's weird.
Yes. There are some that only cost total. So it doesn't matter what your current balance is. Your total is what you have to pay from. They're a little deceptively named. I had to read about it to remember how it actually works. It's basically when you get BP, they go into two categories. I do recommend getting at least the Billy Jr. doll here. They're all pretty good. There's an ether doubler. You can get one of those here. There is also a speed shoes, and even though it's kind of annoying to farm them, it is much easier to get them from sluggers than pay the price here for them. There's also a GNRS 50, which we'll talk a little bit more about, but it is a very, very good accessory for your gears. So this is one of two places you can get them. I am probably not going to bother with getting this one because there's an easier way as long as you're willing to farm the money for it. There are also other chargers. So if you can recall, we got an A charger, which ups the gear charge command from base of 30 to 50. S charger, I believe, does 100, and X charger does 200. We're not going to bother with those either. But yeah, for example, the GNRS 50 here, just for those curious, because it's probably the best thing in here, is current BP of 5,000, I'm sorry, and then total BP of 15,000. So I do want it, but I don't have the points for it. Choose more carefully, and they kind of go off on you if you don't want the one. So let me just back out of these menus, and you might be wondering, how do you get BP here? Well, it's a lot like when we were trying to get out of this area. We talked to this middle person, and we can do battling matches. So I'll just demonstrate here. Special Mode 1 does not give you BP, but it's here if you would like to mess with the various gears. So you can pick who you're playing as and who you're fighting. So we've got not just phase gears, but everyone's, including Dominia's here for some reason. Now, I mentioned El Regulus you can get if you go into the final dungeon to the last save point and then exit and come back here. So you can do that if you want. The other benefit of doing that is in your Special Mode 2, which allows you to get BP. I'll just load one up here real quick. And we'll fight one battle match here. So we select Special Mode 2. And I'm just going to use Xenogears. You can use any of Phase gears for Special Mode 2. And you get Gear Level 0, Gear Level 1. This is the difficulty of your match. If you go to the final dungeon, get to the final area, the last save point, and you leave, and you come back here, Gear Level 2 is unlocked. You're going to get more BP for doing that. A lot more. For now, I'll go ahead and do a Level 1 battle here. And I'll just do the usual battle music here. And then I'll demonstrate how much BP you get, and you get to watch me kind of flail around in this battle one more time here before we kind of move on.
Rumble, 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 rumble.
Yeah. And S-Trooper, okay. So, Xenogears is a fun one. It's got a lot of ranged attacks. I do want to make sure I do kind of your close-range melee attacks because they're cool. The wings spawn. When you do it, they tend to spin around you a bunch. I like to do ranged attacks mostly with Xenogears just because it's very good with it. You can kind of just fire tons of homing missiles. It's nice. But Veltal and Veltal 2 are both available if you prefer your melee style combat here. Go.
And Xenogears looks really cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool gear.
So strong.
Who's ever outmatched? I get goosebumps. Oh boy. All right. So because I didn't take a lot of damage, when you're in like the first, like maybe 5 or 10% of the damage, you get this. This is the maximum points you get. So 300 BP. That goes into your current and your total. They both go up by the amount of BP that you win. And then special bonus is just you get some G for doing it. It's not really the best money grinding thing, but you might as well take the money while you're, grinding up battle points, assuming you want things here. And so if I check my current balance over here, you'll see they both went up by 300. In mode 2, you get 300 for that top of the line where you take like no damage. You get 175 if you take moderate damage, and then it kind of goes down from there to I think 120 for a close victory, Close loss. You can actually lose points if you lose. If you get absolutely destroyed, you lose like 150 points. And you can also forfeit, or you can ether bullet loss, where you kill yourself by firing an ether bullet and while overheated. So, but for just kind of your base, you're going to mostly get Great Victory or Victory. And then level 0 is 215 for Great Victory and 145 for Victory. Level 2 is 900 BP for Great Victory and then 450 for regular Victory. So you can tell it's more than half, or more than doubled what level 1 is. So yeah, if you really want to get the really crazy stuff, I recommend you come back here once you get to the very end of the final dungeon and just use level 2. But
Sounds good.
all right, we're going to kind of move on from this. I did want to make sure to explain it because this is one of a couple of things that is available here, and you can get some pretty good stuff. Actually, yeah, let me just also cover. I did manage to beat the speed challenge. You do have to beat the person. It was Han's stepdaughter. Anyway, you have to beat her like 5 times in a row without losing, so that was a little annoying. But I did get all of the dolls here. I'm pretty sure I just picked up the Bart Jr. doll. It's probably somewhere else in my inventory here. Yeah, there it is. So there's a Bart Jr. They all say, I think, handmade by Choo Choo. No, these are creator unknown. But Faye, Billy, and Bart. They don't really show what they do, so I'll just explain briefly here. The Billy Jr. doll raises hit percent and evade percent by 25%, and it does work when you're in a gear, and it does stack with Evasion Ring or Wild Smile. So I recommend getting the Billy Jr. doll if you can. That's a handy one to have. The Faye Jr. And the Bart Jr. dolls are really good for Choo Choo because Choo Choo has the mechanic of doing critical hits. So Faye Jr. critical bonus goes up from 50% to 100%, and Bart Jr. You gain an increased critical hit chance of 50% on the base 10% that Choo Choo has, so it goes up to 60%. You can.
That's pretty wild. Yeah,
it's crazy. It's especially if you power up Choo Choo. If you equip both of those, you're just going to be critting all over the place. You can equip them on other people, but they won't do anything because nobody else can crit but Choo Choo, so don't bother. The Emeralda Jr. doll is an interesting one. It inflicts the same amount of damage the wearer has been dealt, so it's return damage. It's a pretty interesting accessory. Also works in a gear. And then the Ellie Jr. doll, I believe it's supposed to randomly increase or decrease ether damage, but it's speculated that it might be bugged. So, I think Ellie Jr. doll is the one that you have to win 5 times in a row, and Emeralda Jr. is 1. So if you're getting irritated with it, just beat them once and you're good. The other odd accessory I wanted to cover was the Choo Choo Idol, but I'll do that a little bit later. So while we're here in Nortune, we can look over here where the capital was, where Yggdrasil 4 was. And this is where the exchange is for materials. So I'm going to exchange a few just to kind of show you how it goes. This is one of the better ways to get money right now. So you can check in 30 at a time. I just turned in 6 for 9,000 G. So scales are really good, and ivory is really good. And I believe we've got 2 of these. Yeah. So I got like 4,000 G for that. Obviously, if you go farm a ton of them, you're going to get quite a good bit of money. So, well worth it if you're looking to farm up money for stuff we're going to be covering a little bit later in this episode. And we're going to pop in. I'm going to show you exactly where to go if you want to farm those items. I'm not going to go in there because you guys have seen it before. It's Anima Relic 2. Anima Relic 2 is located over here, up in the icy area. It is right there.
Oh.
Little cave thing. So if you land here, you can pop in there and then just fight in the first room. There's croaker tribes and all sorts of things there that you could fight. So yeah, that's a good spot for grinding. I'm going to fly over this because it's kind of cool to see. There's the final dungeon right there.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So we're not going there just yet, but yeah, that is our eventual destination. Love flying around in this game. Big old crater here.
What's that from?
I think this might have been where Etronach came down.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yep. I just made a gigantic crater in the middle of that I don't remember which continent that actually is. Is that...
That's at least part of the Aquavie area.
Yeah, we're in the Aquavie area, so kind of the major continent there. This is the Snowfield hideout. As you can tell, it's a piece of Shivat that came down. This is another good spot. If you land here, just kind of run around outside of the Snowfield hideout. You can fight things that will drop golden vests and golden hoods. Those sell for 2,900 and 1,900 G respectively. So just get a ton of those and sell them, and that will give you some good money. I prefer Anima Relic 2 because you're going to get more consistent drops, but either one works, honestly. And yeah, that's about all I wanted to cover on kind of your in-game farming stuff. So, you might be asking, why am I getting all this money? Well, let's go demonstrate why. We're going to head to the first of our side quests for today. There it is. All right.
Lighthouse.
There we go. All right. So, make sure you bring Emeralda on this side quest. Even if you don't really plan on using her, bring her to this side quest when you do it. And you'll see why.
The base of this lighthouse was built several thousand years ago. Highlanders added a light to make it into a lighthouse, but no one knows what it really is.
Let's find out.
Elevator.
Yeah, going down.
I thought we'd be going up.
Up to the top of the lighthouse. No. This should look a little familiar.
It's like a whole city down here.
Yup.
The city we saw from Emeralda's ruins.
This is part of Zeboim.
What?
Mm-hmm.
We've come a long way from there. That place was massive, too.
Yup. So this is just a piece of it, but it's kind of got like a weird modern look to it. We're going to poke around here. Okay, Deathblower 3. There's a number of treasures we can get down here, which will be awesome. And there are enemies hanging out.
Whoa.
Hammerheads. All right, let's head to this. Anytime you see these little yellow lights, you pop out of your gear and you can walk in.
Oh.
I should be able to grab something in here. It's a save point. Interesting. Survival tent. All right, I know where I am. Indie News. This is like a news studio.
Huh.
Yeah. It's all very, like, modern-looking kind of stuff here. Can we go up here?
Yeah.
All right, apparently we can. Pop in here. It's like all sorts of stuff. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
Yup. I love this area. Yeah, we'll go ahead and use the save point here. It is interesting that there's even memory cubes down here at all.
Yeah, but they're kind of everywhere.
They kind of are.
And it was kind of implied they've been using them for a long time, so...
Yeah. Oh, just like we can get out of our gears and go in here on foot. Yeah. So Faye will kind of give a hint, like, hey, go in there. Yeah, there's another. But yeah, I mean, even back in the Zebulon era. Ooh, dragon. Either that or these ruins had a memory cube placed in them after the fact.
Yeah, that's true.
They give a good bit of XP, but generally it's better to fight them in gears. So even though there's a lot of on-foot enemies, you probably want to go ahead and stay in your gears while you're down here.
Sounds good.
I'm going to just ether machine these guys. Okay, so let's pop into this building here. And let's see, what do we got? This looks like a convenience store. Yeah, we got a cashier here, some like magazines and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There is, I believe the treasure in here is up here. Yep. Deathblower 1.
Nice.
Yeah, so there's one of each Deathblower here. This looks like it's like an upper... Yeah. Maybe there's... It's like a 2-floor store there. It's interesting.
Yeah, it could be 2 different stores, maybe. Or it's like a mini mart.
Right. All right.
Looks like we can get out of the gears and go in on foot.
Every time you approach one, he will explain that, which, you know, is handy.
Gotta go on foot.
Shell bell. Get rid of these.
Bonk.
Blick.
Le stab.
There we go.
And Crescent's is such a cool gear. I know
It
we
is.
say it like all the time, but
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I really, really like Crescents. All right. Now,
Big Joe,
Big Joe is here too.
what are you doing here? What the crap?
So these items around him are random. Let's go ahead and grab the one behind him, then we'll talk to him. Berry. Okay. So, here we go.
How do you like my shop? Pretty good, huh? Why are you here? It's Joe's shop, so of course it's all Joe brand.
All right, we're going to start with gear parts.
He sells items and gear parts?
He does. Yeah, so I'm actually going to start with the tune-up options here first. So,
Wow, this music's so victorious.
it is. Yeah, so Joe has engines that are only gettable here. The Omega 100 has the highest output in the game, but it will reduce your fuel to 1,000.
Wow.
So that's as opposed to the 70 output engine that has the 8,000 fuel. Honestly, if you're going to go for this, go for the Omega 100. I've never heard a good argument for these other two as opposed to the Omega 100. You will be low on fuel, but it is monstrously powerful. Like 30 output doesn't sound like a lot, but it is very strong. I do want to talk about kind of why I've chosen. I'm going to stick with the 8,000 fuel engines personally. He does also have the final frame for Steer and Saibzen here, so we're going to grab those. What I am going to get from him is the Z Alloy 8030. You can also grab the Z Gold 100 for your 1,000 AR value. I'm going with the 800 AR and then the 30 for the Ether armor for all of my gears. So we're going to get everybody upgraded with that. And it is by far my favorite because we're not done dealing with Ether attacks in this game yet. There we go. And then, yes. Saibzen gets the highest gear HP. Oh, no, actually, it goes up to 34,000, but it's called 38,000. I think I had forgotten about that. Interesting. So in that case, Elsteer actually has the highest. And we'll go ahead and do some restoration here. At least of our main gears. We'll get everybody. We'll get the upgraded. Yeah, so we got 36,000 health on Elsteer, and then Saibzen, I guess, only goes up to 34,000, despite the name. But that's still a lot of health. The other thing... yes, we can actually get good ammo for... I'm going to buy... I'll buy a couple of these. And then he does sell power magics, Veil Doublers. There are two extremely good things here. He sells the very rare Z Charger. Charge restores 500 fuel.
Wow.
Yeah.
Also really expensive.
Yes. Yes, they are expensive. I believe there should be at least one Z Charger down here. Yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to buy 2 of these. The other thing that I'm here to get, engine output up 50%, the GNRS 50. You can buy the cheaper 20 if you want. I'm going to buy 3 of these. So that is a lot of money. But if you're wondering why I was farming all that money, this is why. Well worth it, in my opinion.
So, how do you like it? Come again sometime.
And I am going to go to his item shop as well here. Item shop.
It's all Joe brand.
That's right. Yeah, so he's got... I don't have any of these. Let's grab a few of these just in case. He does sell drives, and then tragedy and comedy and Samson's hair. So, these drives, you can upgrade any of your stats permanently by using these drives. So, I am probably going to grab a number of these, and the reason I'm going to do it is because I'm going to have Choo Choo upgraded with some things so that she has extremely high HP in gear form. I'll keep a little bit of money on me. Let's do 15 of them. And then buy a few of these. As you can tell, quite expensive. But I do have a reason I'm doing that. Now, how do you like it? Come again sometime. So, let's go ahead and discuss the gear equipment here. So, Z Chargers are pretty nice. I do like them. They're a little more useful if you go with the Omega 100 engine, because then you've got 1,000 fuel and you can literally restore half of it with a single charge command. But, as you can tell, GNRS 50 just upgrades your attack to a monstrous level. So, everyone's getting one of these. And I am actually going to go ahead and put it over Emeralda's power magic here. So, we're over 1,000. Now, if you go with the Omega 100, you're going to be hitting much higher power output. Especially with Xenogears and if you have the Kijin sword for Fenrir. Here's the problem. When you do an upgrade to Omega 100, you can also stack multiple GNRS 50s, so you can get your attack power up to like well over 2,000 if you do it right. The problem is damage caps in this game at 9999. And what is more efficient to do with the Omega 100 engine is slap 3 GNRS 50s on and then just use your attack level 1 combos. Even with Xenogears, you're going to do a lot more damage that way. So if you want to do that, this is definitely an option. You can have your main party running these, and then you can just lay waste to everything. Your regular attacks are going to do damage cap. I don't personally find it very fun to play that way. I like hyper mode, and make no mistake, equipped this way, all of the Xenogears hyper mode, everyone's will hit damage cap, especially the X button ones. So there's more than enough power here. And when it comes to HP of bosses. Alpha Veltal has the most at 100,000. No one else, including the final boss, has more than that. So I kind of choose the more endurance-based cinematic style, but you do have the option. If you would like to go that other direction, it is perfectly viable, and a lot of people do it.
I'm still reeling about the fact that Joe is here in the Zaboan ruins. Like,
Yep.
did he find a way down here and just establish this like black market shop, or?
Yeah, good question. I'm going to enter and exit out of here to get those random chests to respawn here.
Oh, they respawn? How often?
They do. Every time you go back in, they respawn.
Oh.
Because of our encounter rate.
Emeralda's so cute.
Yup.
I keep forgetting to point it out, but when you win a battle, she like jumps up and down. Real happy.
She's so excited.
Yeah. Makes me think of Link from Wind Waker.
Ah, yep. I'll go ahead and call. Yeah, Link has the hopping around whenever he's victorious. Love that.
Mm-hmm. Wow!
You scared of that one. I love his like backflip, speed slash, his strong attack with the sword.
Yeah.
It's good times. Yeah, here's a weak attack with the new setup. Boom. Get out of here.
Wow.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, it's sort of hard to see with the camera. Now, there are books in here. I got book 1. Hobmeat. It's sort of random what you get here. Radish, oh boy. I don't... Yeah, pretty good, buddy. I want the chest behind you. There we go. Eyeball. Oh boy.
You got an eyeball.
Yeah. Okay. Joe wants to find 4 random treasure chests. Making sure I remember all of these. Yeah, there's a couple of things you can get here that are weird. There's a UFO photo. There's an Alpha Nana. There is a matchlock, which I think might be a gun for Billy. And then there is book 1, book 2. Let's look at book 1 real quick. We have, I think that's just a regular item here. I might be wrong about that. Just poke around for a second. I'll go into them a little bit more later if we need to. Yeah, I don't know what that is. So yeah, I won't waste you guys' time running in and out of this building over and over. But yeah, there's potentially some good stuff. I believe the matchlock is a gun for Billy. So I'll probably try to grab that and do a little bit more, because I know I tend not to use Billy, so I could just hear like anybody that likes him like, why don't you use him? He's awesome, kind of thing. So let's see.
He doesn't like you.
Yeah, there's the G Godfather, which I think might be the best gun for Billy's gear.
Nice.
Got a big old open area over here.
Look at those super flat cars.
Yup. Oh, here we go. Yeah, so you can tell the power output over there is 1050. That's with Crescents. 1180 on Fenrir here. 1190 on Xenogears.
So much damage.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, it's just enormous amounts of damage, and if you do the Omega 100 upgrade, you're just going to be doing staggering damage, because the GNRS 50 is a 50% increase. It's not just 500, additional output here. So,
Right.
okay. Go in here on foot. Okay, I think it's this. Yep, here we go.
Oh.
All right, so we got, like, in the subway tracks here. And there should be a treasure in here. Let's see. Is it in this car? Yeah, there it is. We'll grab this. It's the last
Z-Charger.
Z-Charger, that's right. So I'm not going to use them on the main party. I used to use them, but I like magnetic coats a little bit better for the main party. And Z-Chargers are very heavy, so you take pretty heavy agility penalties on gears like Crescents. But yeah, they will see use, as well as there's a reason I bought all those HP drives, so we'll go into that more a little bit later. But for now...
Where are we?
Look who it is.
Oh, hey. It's Ellie and Kim.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty.
Yeah. What are all the sparklies for?
Fireworks? Christmas!
Christmas tree!
It's the wrong time of year for this. Congratulations, Ellie. Another year has come and passed. Yes, Happy New Year, Kim. I don't know what it is, but just now you sounded like an old person speaking. No, well, this time last year I never thought the war would come this far. Yeah, but we managed to get by without getting involved. But it's not over yet. Why, at this very moment, people are still dying. Let's stop talking about this. Let's not dwell on the past year. Not at the start of a new year. Yes, well, today, at least, I want to spend a day without worrying.
Tree is enormous.
It is. Stupid idiots. A bunch of fools. You fools? Kim, you're too loud.
He's so angry.
I don't care if they hear me. All the people here are also fools. Kim, think about it. What's the purpose of fighting each other on such a tiny planet as this? Fighting out of fear of being hunted into a corner. Rushing into fight as if there were only so many reserved seats to the right of life. Starting a war is stupid. Inciting is also stupid. Stupid, 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 stupid. Killing people as an act of terrorism or as a protest against wars that kill people is just as stupid. You're all fools. Kim, I felt sorry for that child. But I don't think people in Ravine destroyed the generator with that intention. They don't have any other ways to express themselves. The government is the one to blame. Is that a good reason for that child or those dead people?
A good enough reason. Yeah.
Right. It wasn't much of an operation. It was difficult, but there was enough chance to win. We'd have won if we had better equipment. That child would have been saved if there was electricity. It's not just that child. 5 people died in my hospital. The ICU didn't function. I guess he's a doctor in this one.
Mm-hmm.
Stupid. Just fools. Humans, creatures are meant to live. Why do they want to die out? Why do they strangle themselves? Humans are defective creatures. A bunch of fools. He really likes fools.
He does.
That's why genetic damage is up lately. The birth rate is also going down. Only 30 years to live? Holy cow.
Mm-hmm.
Nature, this planet, won't allow humans to live any longer than that. It's a short life.
Yep. Yeah, it's because of increasing genetic damage. They have shorter lifespans at this point.
Is that because of just the capacity of what Deus could do?
I think we go into that a little bit more here.
Okay. Am I a fool too? Huh? I had a physical at the hospital today. They said I can't have children because of hereditary genetic damage. I can't create life. I'm a creature waiting to become extinct. Am I also a fool? Ooh, now you feel dumb, don't you?
Yup.
That escalated quickly.
It did.
It's no good. It's not gonna work. Somehow, we must break the spell of the humans on this planet will die out. No, I don't care about humans. Life itself will be ruined if we don't do something. Some pure life, not cursed. I appreciate that there's an easel there, which means he's been painting for millennia.
He's also an artist. Yep.
A pure life. This is the new spirit vessel that will break the curse. It hasn't awakened yet. The form was created by nanomachines, but neural simulation hasn't been done by the assembler tower yet. It's physically stable, but still doesn't function as a living creature yet. A nanomachine colony. No matter how many times we rewrite the hereditary codes, the impression embedded in our bodies cannot be stopped. It was necessary to pursue this further. We had to recreate the molecular... No. Actually, the atomic level, by referring to the structural patterns of you and I. This child holds our futures and possibilities. Can this child be the angel who can give us more time? I remember long ago, you, Kim, died. Right before town died. It was because soldiers of town tried to use me. That's right. The memory of my soul. It was left in me for your sake. While I being held, Krellian told that the ultimate work of art that technology gave birth to. Yes, I knew I was a thing. Look, my body. Different from Maria, Margie, and Ellie. Human imitation, but different. Kim and Ellie said I was Angel. Yes, you are the child I, or Kim, wished for. Kim's been a part of me in my blood, passing his memory down the generations for the past 4,000 years. Existing for the day that the child, who Kim was never able to embrace for so long, will be born. Give her a hug. Faye, thank you for being substitute Kim till now, but it okay. I be strong and make Kim and Ellie proud that I their child. What? Faye, body so hot. Faye, hold me tight. Don't let go. What? Good gracious.
She grew up.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Faye, body. Good thing her clothes grew up with her. That'd be awkward. I became adults. I not get in your way anymore.
All right. So
she just stays adult. That's
yep. Emeralda has changed. She is now adult Emeralda. So
wow.
yeah, Emeralda gets a multiplier as an adult. She gets a multiplier of 1.2 on all of her stats. That does include her gear output, which is one of the reasons I think she is one of the best party members for in-game.
Wow, that's crazy. To think that you could miss that if you didn't take her with you to the lighthouse.
Right. Exactly. Let's see. Yeah, and I think, her death blows are still called the same thing, but all of them except for Dark Beast now have new animations as well, because she's adult Emeralda now.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. But yeah, she will do significantly more damage. She is an extremely strong party member here. And we get a little bit more about Zeboim as well as Kim and Ellie from that era.
Right.
Yeah, so my understanding of all of that is what was happening was they were attempting to do genetic engineering, basically, to correct problems that were cropping up with humanity as it stood at that time.
Right.
We do also know that there was a nuclear catastrophe around that time as well. Essentially engineered by Myong to press a reset button at that point.
Yeah, it seems like when he's talking about the war, I'm assuming they had an equivalent to some type of major war that just kind of extended to the rest of the planet, like you said, because it's a catastrophic event.
Right.
So a world war of some sort, I assume. But I find it interesting, the genetic problem, that they can only live 30 years. Their genetics have just disseminated so much over time.
Yeah, pretty much it's all breaking down for them at this point. Or
so,
that point.
Right. And like there's some actual science behind that. Like the human DNA sequence is gradually losing some of its purity every generation.
Right.
Now I don't know if that would affect longevity. Maybe it does. I don't know. So I wonder if it's just a limitation of days, right? Because that was 4,000 years ago, which means there was another 6,000 years in front of that where Deus had populated the earth with people who were then propagating and spreading that DNA out further and further and further. And so I wonder if that's just a limitation of the system itself. Like it had no more DNA to give necessarily.
Yeah, that's essentially correct. And when it was reset, I believe what happened was Myong took steps to repurify, basically renew genetic code of humans. Which how that is done is not 100% clear at this point, but yeah, I mean that's essentially what happened.
Right. So Emeralda was Kim's answer to that problem.
Right.
To infuse the genetic with the nanotechnology to correct and restore what was broken.
Exactly.
Interesting.
Yep. Oh yeah, we can get something. Let's pop by the Snowfield hideout. We're going to be able to get something from there now that we have adult Emeralda on our team.
It wasn't like a huge area, but that had a lot of dense content right there at the end.
Yep. It's pretty important. That's why I say the lighthouse side quest, in my view, is pretty much essential to the full experience of this game. You don't have to do it, but you do not get Emeralda 2 if you don't, and you don't get that extra bit about Zeboim. Yeah, there's a bit of this. Yeah, here we go. Hey.
There's a hole in the wall.
There is.
There's nothing here. He's long gone already. But wow, to make a hole this big.
Id punched through the wall there.
There's nothing here.
Yeah. Okay. Guess they were saying the furthest reaches, so we probably gotta run all the way down here. Is this a door? Oh, yeah, apparently it is.
Huzzah!
Oh, who are you?
I guess I wasn't supposed to have used this. I'm sorry I caused you so much trouble. Your little brother was really mad at me. He asked us whether we had hearts or not. Oh, this is the carbonite chamber.
Oh, yep. Yeah,
I
probably
envy you
talking
having
about Dan.
Right. I envy you having a brother with enough guts to be honest.
Go.
Frozen in carbonite.
Gotta be this
Hey,
person.
bud. I have a stupid son, you know. He used to fish for a living, but one day he said he saw a merman sitting on the sea floor. Since then, he hasn't gone out to sea. He's become a landlubber. We haven't seen him these past few years. I don't know what he's doing now. Hey, you have a rare stone there too. Is it a mermaid's tear? They're tough to find.
Another item from, like, the beginning of the game.
Right. And you, girl, you have the most amazing eyes. Like they're an ocean treasure or something. So let me borrow that stone for a bit. Long ago, I used to be a famous designer. See? It's ready.
Great.
Wow, that was fast.
Mm-hmm.
You can take this. Good luck. Just don't get taken in by any more strange men. Now, love.
Mermaid ring. And I don't remember exactly what that does. Let's take a look at it.
Emeralda only accessory.
Yep. Yeah, okay. So you get a boost to your ether and your ether defense by 10. So, it's nice. I'm gonna leave the doubler on her for now. Alright. So we're gonna go ahead and head over to Duneman Isle at this point. That one's a lot less like lore story content. There's some interesting stuff, but it's more of a true side quest, I would say. This is an on-foot area. It's not an area to be tackled in your gears, and it's probably the last one you're going to have in this game, so bring whoever you want to be running around on foot here. Oh, we're the married Dunemen, looking for treasure, west side home, blah, 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 turf, yeah.
This is our turf, yeah.
No place for gears here.
Why, we're not even sure. This ain't no place for wimps like y'all. If you still don't get it, listen very carefully. Go home.
Wanna go back? Nope.
You're so stubborn.
Come at me. Yeah, okay. So there are dragons here that actually drop extremely good stuff. So definitely run with the trader card here. And yeah, grab speed shoes before you deal with this. Let's see. There are a couple of things we can grab. Yeah, if you want to navigate me while we're hanging out here.
Yep, I'm gonna go east 3 screens.
Being forced south.
Well, you just haven't gone east enough.
Sounds right. Open with X, whatever.
The upside down slashes are so strange.
Yep. I quite like it, but it is definitely odd. Yeah, let's just do... I love her new stuff. Very fun.
That's stupid.
Oh!
I don't know why. It makes me giggle every time I see it.
Because it's hilarious looking, pretty much. At least in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
Alright, so as you're navigating, I did want to go over one thing that I think is very interesting that I've only been really made aware of recently, and that's the fact that several of the characters in this game have been designed with Enneagram personalities in mind. So Continue east.
Yeah.
Okay. So, first of all, and probably the most obvious one, is Faye himself, our hero. So I don't know, just a brief thing on what Enneagram is. There are 9 types of personalities, and they're generally meant to be kind of archetypes, and it's a lot more complex than, you know, a popular type of personality test like the Myers-Briggs inventory. And so I haven't been able to determine how intentional it was that love tornado hand. Basically how intentional it was that Enneagram types were used, but I believe that it was pretty much like what their intention was. But at the very least, Faye very much matches a Type 9 in his journey. So, just to talk about that briefly, the Type 9 personality is a peacemaker. It's sometimes called the universal personality type because it can manifest other types of personalities. And they've got kind of a spiritual side to them. They're more of a seeker. And so all of the Enneagram personality types have a set of fears and a set of desires. So the fear of a Type 9 is loss and separation.
North.
We're going north here?
Yeah.
Okay. I thought I was still heading east. Oh boy, a sandworm.
Yeah, we transitioned twice, so we're in the 3rd screen at this point, so going north would be where you want to be.
Okay, heading north. But Type 9s fear loss and separation, and they desire inner stability and peace. So they can demonstrate the universal temptation to ignore the disturbing aspects of life and seek some degree of peace and comfort by numbing out. And they can attempt to live in premature peace or gross denial when they are unhealthy. And they tend to lack a strong sense of their own identity by being too absorbed in others. So you just kind of think about Faye's journey in this game. He manifests that with a lot more complex stuff, like the whole Faye-id separation. Wow, that did not do as much damage as I thought it would.
I misspoke. We do have to go east one more.
East one more? Okay.
Yeah, it's looking like we have to go as far east as we can, and then we'll backtrack a little bit.
All right. I will keep heading east.
Probably for event purposes.
Yeah, no problem. So we go all the way east, then backtrack to the west, then go north?
We'll go east one more screen,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll head north.
Okay.
Event, we'll go north again,
All right.
and then we'll head south and west. So,
All right. But yeah, I found that to be very interesting, the idea of there being personality types like that. Let me see if this one works better on this enemy. I'm not exactly sure why I'm not able to break through kind of the you do 1 damage regardless. There we go. Got to use an ether on it. All right, no problem. Bye-bye. And an eyeball. Yeah, we'll probably pop by Nortoon again after we head out of here. I'm going to go ahead and top off Emeralda. There we go.
gotta use one of my 3 million Omega Saws.
Yeah, gotta go buy more. I only have like 85 of them left. Okay, so now we head north.
Oh, wait, hold on.
Okay.
Go 3 screens east to the first pure desert one. Okay, yes, north 1 screen.
North 1 screen, okay.
We're gonna see a flock of sharks, apparently.
So we follow the sharks?
No,
No, okay.
not yet.
I'm remembering this a little bit. Been a while since I've done Dune Manile.
Gonna go north.
Continue north, all right. Over the dunes.
Yeah, we gotta go get Sight and his sword.
Excellent. Let's do... Let's just do like Zanretsu here. I'm gonna have Faye deal with the gear. Not that, like, any of these are much of a threat. Basically, dragons are about the only threat on this island. Do Divider here. I think this one has a new animation.
Oh.
Nice.
I miss some of the comically large portions, like when she had the spike ball from her hair.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like, it still does it, but it's smaller now.
Right. Yeah. They... yeah. It's not quite as cartoony. Like, she still has, like, weird, crazy abilities, but...
Right.
A little bit different now.
Yeah, she's still super cool.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely prefer adult Emeralda in almost every way, especially stat-wise, but kid Emeralda is hilarious and adorable, so, you know.
Right. Jeez.
That's a fun one. She didn't hop around anymore.
I know. That's the thing that makes me the most sad.
All right. Been north another screen here. Ah, here we go.
It's a giant skeleton.
It is. I think we gotta climb this, right?
Yep.
I remember this being kind of...
Climb its vertebra column to pull out a sword.
Give me that. Draw the sword.
Draw the S word?
Yup.
Oh no, you messed with the crate dragon remains.
That's a load-bearing sword right there.
Apparently.
Ah! All right, then. We'll go ahead and equip Sighton with his new sword. This is his second best. Only 3 improvement on attack power. He does have a best sword, the Mumio sword, which will drop from the dragons here. So we'll try to get one as we're heading through the rest of this. Let's see. So now, if I'm reading this right, we got to go south and then west. Is that right?
Yep, that's
right.
correct.
Excellent.
We'll go south once, and then we'll go west once.
Perfect. Yeah, so not a huge area, kind of like the lighthouse, but definitely worth going here, especially if you want to kind of run around on foot for the last time, because the final dungeon is all gears. Uh-oh. It's the Sand Falls.
Yeah, and you can only pick one of the 2.
Yep.
So the question is, do you want the Godfather gun, or do you want the kingly armor?
So, yeah, we'll have to go around and get the other one. I'll head this way. I just picked a direction here. Ah. Apparently I wanted the kingly armor. Let's take a look here. If I remember right, it's really, really good. Defense up when ally KO'd. Alright, well, for our beautiful Square King, there you go. See if we can give sight in the Slayer robe. Yep. There we go. And yeah. Excellent. And those will, of course, be replaced by holy pendants once we are back in our gears. So yeah, we'll have to go around and grab that other one. I think the first time we come down here, a dragon pops out, so we'll fight that.
Yep. Get to fight a worm.
Oh, a worm?
Yeah.
Okay. Thought it was a dragon for some reason.
Well, W-Y-R-M, worm.
Right.
So it's a variant of dragon,
Well, in this case,
I guess.
it's a sandworm.
Then why spell it worm?
I don't know.
No. Wow. All right, bye.
Get out of here.
It bugled sadly.
That's right. Goodbye. All right. So yeah, I think we just go east, north, west to get the other one, right?
Yep.
All right. Yeah, and then that's pretty much all of the, like, things you can get outside of farming dragons here, which we might just hang out and do that until... I would like to get a Mumio sword for Citan. It's not really necessary because, like I said, you're going to end up in a situation where you are only in your gear, and so Citan's equipped weapon on his person will be irrelevant. I just kind of like getting it, you know. The dragon has several good drops, including, I believe, the best gun for Billy as well. Unfortunately, with Bart, I'm pretty sure his best weapon is just you buy one or something, so...
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, let's see. Dragons can drop Death Adder. No, that's Bart's. Death Adder is Bart's best whip, I believe. Blessed Habit, Blessed Helm, Kaiser Helm, and the Mumio Sword. Which, my understanding is the Mumio Sword is the rarest one. So, you know. You get sick of it, you can head out, and you won't really miss a lot. There's no instance of ending this game where you need to fight on foot. So, you know, up to you. We'll probably try it for a little bit here, and then if we don't get a drop, we'll just head out. After I crunch more Dunemans. Dunemans. Let's do just a Malco.
What you doing, man?
I don't even know. All right, heading west here. To circle back to what I was talking about before, though, as far as other characters go, another extremely clear one is Ellie as a Type 2. Type 2 is called the Helper, and they're kind of a self-sacrificing and empathetic type. They fear being unwanted or being unworthy of being loved, and their desire is to feel loved. So, you know, that's just, if that isn't describing Ellie's character. Ooh, almost missed it. There we go. Godfather. Yeah, so that's Billy's best gun, the Godfather. So
I don't know anything about those feelings.
Yeah. Yeah, so Type 2s as the Helper, you know, I am certain, like, I've spoken with several people who relate very strongly. The Type 2 can be very self-deceptive and too over-involved in the lives of others and follow their base drive to self-sacrifice themselves for others, which can lead to anger and resentment, or in Ellie's case, actual self-sacrifice without regard for what others may need. So talking about kind of the Sophia Lacan-Krellian situation there. So that's sort of how they used the Type 2 for that, and, you know, kind of paired with Faye's Type 9. And his journey, of course, is very chaotic, but, you know, he does have those unstable tendencies, and really he's coming to terms with the shattered personality that is who he has become and unifying it. So the shattered mirror when he is in combat, the shattered screen, that's really what, you know, I mentioned, I believe, near the beginning of this game, that it is very meaningful. That's why, because of the shattering, the mental shattering, and how really this is a journey about finding wholeness, finding unity, and unifying kind of those disparate aspects of his personality. And really, he's become more than that because of his overall multi-life memory, you know. And that's the only real way to make true contact with the Zohar also, is to become a whole person. Because otherwise, you know, the wave existence reflects who you are. So if there isn't, you know, if you're a shattered person, the wave existence is going to reflect that. Like it did with Lacan, like it did with Id before Faye was united. It's interesting. There are a couple of other pretty strong Enneagram types. You could make arguments for the rest of the party, but the other really strong ones are Ramses as a Type 3. Type Type 3 is the achiever, and they're self-assured and ambitious. They have a fear of being worthless and a desire to feel valuable and worthwhile. So they're generally popular among their peers. Oh, hey, here we go. We got a dragon. Popular among their peers and well-liked. And they embody the ideals of a culture, and they tend to become role models and leaders. They are easily self-deceived when they become too overly focused on achieving their value and can become alienated from themselves and what their wants and desires truly are. Oops, I healed him. So this can be seen when Ramses is called trash and reacts violently, right? So we're hitting kind of what a Type 3 under stress or an unhealthy version would have. He's being called worthless, and that's literally like the worst thing for him.
Right. Don't, so, not to muddy the water too much.
Yeah.
But
Muddy
doesn't
away.
the Enneagram... You're right. But too bad. Doesn't the Enneagram also talk about how different types will react under stress versus healthy?
Yes.
So, like, a Type 2, when under a lot of stress, I think becomes more like a Type 7, I think, which is the defender or something. I don't remember what it is.
Yeah, I don't recall off the top of my head what the stress ones were, but that is correct. It is possible to manifest other personality types. It's also one of the reasons a 9 is so interesting, because in a lot of ways, even though it's a universal type, it's also kind of the most unstable one.
Right.
It's pretty interesting. But yeah, you're definitely right. The other interesting thing is that they tend to have what are called wings.
Yes.
And so, like, for example, a Type 5 and 4, I believe, is called the Iconoclast. And that one is... Type 5 is on my mind because the other major one in this game is Krellian as a Type 5.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, Type 5 is the investigator. They're a questioner, they're insightful, and they're curious. Uh-oh, let's see what we got here. Ow. Okay, we survived it.
Oof.
Yeah, that hurts, but if you're well equipped, you can generally deal with it. So, a Type 5 fears being useless, helpless, or incapable, and they desire to be competent. They want to possess knowledge and understanding, and to have everything figured out as a defense. And they can retreat into nihilism and callousness as a defense, and end up self-defeating when they become too focused and imbalanced. So, if that doesn't describe Krellian, you know, like, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, with, I believe 4 is a common wing for 5s. I don't remember what the other one is.
2s will often wing a 1, I believe.
Okay, yeah. There we go.
It depends, right? Because, like, some 2s are also very admiration driven.
Hey, look at that.
2, 3.
Got the sword.
Nice. Lucky.
That is what I wanted right there. So, yeah, you can certainly farm the other things here. I tend to grab just the sword. It's only 5 more attack power than the Yamato sword, but that is Saiton's best weapon on foot right there. So, there you go. Anyways, you were saying.
Oh, I was just saying, I think 2-3 is common as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the desire for admiration and not being worthless.
Ah, yes.
2s kind of lean into that.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking from personal experience, at least.
I could understand that.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. They wing interestingly, because a 2-1 and or maybe a 1 wing 2 would be more common. I don't know. There's all kinds of combinations.
Yeah. Yeah, Oh, hey.
Hey! I'm stuck.
Hey, buddy.
Hey.
I believe this is how you leave. Uh-oh.
I have a favor to ask. Oh, wait.
I have a favor to hold on. I have to fight this dragon real quick.
Oh, good grief.
Wow. All right, well, let's see what we get from this one. Anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
my wife is much more versed in Enneagram than I am.
Yeah, and I've looked into it a good amount. I'm a lot more familiar with other metrics like MBTI and things like that.
Right.
But Enneagram is extremely interesting, and the fact that even some of these characters either closely match or were based on these types. I do find Phase Type 9 particularly interesting because of how involved it is and how much it really kind of fits the general description of it, which it's really hard to do that with a 9 because of just how widespread their reactions tend to be, how unstable
Right.
they can be, and all of that. So.
Well, it wouldn't be your typical protagonist,
No.
which is kind of nice. I like that he's different in that way.
Right. Yeah, he is a peacemaker. He wants to achieve that. That is his goal. And it's more than just like a lack of violence. He wants kind of a spiritual fulfillment, a spiritual peace type thing.
Right.
At his best, of course.
Right.
At his worst, he's kind of broken, shattered, and there's all sorts of ways that a 9, whereas say a 2 under stress, or a 5, or even a 3, they're going to have things they tend toward. And the fact that 9s can lose themselves so easily is just so fey, and especially the idea of a retreating into a false peace, like that's just the coward. That's what was happening there. Like, you go deal with that, id, while I sit here and watch my memory that will comfort me in this time. And that's all that the coward wanted to do, is repeat that in order to survive, basically. There's something very powerful, psychologically speaking, there of something like that, how it's a response to trauma. Got a blessed helm that time.
I think Bart would probably be a Type 7, which is the enthusiast.
That sounds like him. Blessed helm is
Core fear is pain and depravity, but the core desire is contentment.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
But specifically, they want to avoid boredom more than anything else. So they'll keep busy, full of energy. They'll seek out fun and adventure.
Right.
So.
That's very Bart.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. The thing is, and this is the other thing I wanted to kind of talk about for a second. We have hit the end of this game, and there is not going to be any other character development, at least significantly beyond just finishing up the plot. Going, outlet of the island, you want to ride? Yes. This is how you leave Doomman Isle. Otherwise, you're going to wander around the whole time. So you accept a ride from him, and then you're out.
Rico would probably be the challenger. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah, Rico is the challenger. Yeah, let's hit all of the characters, but I did just kind of want to comment. Bart is an example of a character that I think is developed well. He has a good arc. He is not overly complex, but he doesn't need to be. He is who he is. He's very straightforward as a person. I kind of like that. But you compare him to, say, Billy or Rico, and you see a very definite difference here, where it's one of those situations of Bart is a well-developed but simple character. Citan is a well-developed and a little bit more complex of a character, but his arc completes pretty much at Solaris. And then he is along to help after that. Like, it's not like he does nothing. He is still an active person in the party, but his arc is done at that point. Whereas Billy's arc is extremely small and underdeveloped, and Rico's is even smaller. And so it's one of the things that people are critical of this game, and I can understand that perspective, is, why can't we get any more on these characters? And they ran out of time is one of the reasons.
Right.
I'm going to go ahead and pop into the final dungeon here, and we'll get that started as we're finishing up talking stuff here.
Yeah. Yep. So just to your point with the characters. Wow, that's a cool looking area.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of the remains of Merkava, and then we pop in here.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we definitely have very robust characters, and then as we enter the second act, Rico, Billy, even Emeralda, like we get a little bit more with her, but
Mm-hmm.
a lot of them are a little more two-dimensional just because they haven't had time to really develop them.
Yeah.
And you can see the skeletal framework, for like a better term, for some really interesting, good characters. The
Mm-hmm.
fact that Rico is the Kaiser's son and was subject to experimentation, and that's why he is the way he is, like, to be able to fully explore that would have been really interesting.
Oh yes. Oh yes. I definitely agree with that. I wish there had been more because honestly, like I've been down on Rico a lot in this playthrough, but it's not because I dislike his character. I quite like Rico. His arc, and you know, the Nortoon arc is sort of a slog a little bit, but you do get some really interesting stuff about Rico while you're going through that, and I think he's a solidly written character, and it would have been nice to see a little bit more, especially when talking about Elru, because that's where his father was from. You know, there could have been more stuff there, but Zark just kind of, you know, tapers off, and then he's along for the ride. He is absorbed into the party. That's sort of the end of it with him, and it's unfortunate, really. Like, you know, I can not prefer to use someone in battle and still appreciate their character, or really like them in battle and, you know, the opposite. You know, their character doesn't appeal to me, but I can't really think of a character in this game that I don't like as far as, like, character development and, you know, talking about party members. Maybe Choo Choo, except Choo Choo's the best ever, you know?
Right.
But, you know, she just kind of joins and then has that one moment at Shavat and then fades into the background. So, I mean, there's a reason beyond just combat performance and the party I prefer that I use this party in-game, and it's because these are compelling characters to me.
Right.
You know, I would say Bart is another one I quite enjoy. I like him. He's a good character. Billy, Rico, Choo Choo, even Maria. I like Maria. She's a good character, but she has a very underdeveloped story.
Right.
And, you know, Zybzin is not my style in combat, so I just kind of don't use Maria a lot. She is good, though. She is quite a good character, and, you know, she's very good as a party member as well. And we are going to see a little bit more from these characters, I promise. I'm not going to just use this party to the end of the game. We will have an opportunity to use the others and see everyone in action at full power, which I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
I believe you mentioned Rico was the challenger. Which type was that one?
So Challenger is type 8.
Type
I
8.
had scrolled away. Give me a second here.
Yeah. I'm just going to talk about the rest of this party. I would like to see if we can maybe determine that for all the party members. That would be cool.
Yeah, well, we can start at the top of the list here in a second. Yeah, so the Challenger is, it's really obvious. Fierce, assertive, not afraid of confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
Stop at virtually nothing in order to maintain a strong sense of control over their own lives and sometimes others.
Mm-hmm.
Do not like appearing weak or vulnerable. They're known to withdraw in an effort to protect themselves. That said, they do have a softer side when it comes to their loved ones.
Yeah.
So if that's not Rico, I don't know what is.
Yeah, that's his character. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so it's interesting. Yeah. So
real quick here, Angel AR drop from enemies in here. You can equip them and reduce damage you receive from Angel type attacks, which the Seraph Angels in here have that element to their attacks. So just a note there, you'll get those going through here. Just they'll pour in. So feel free to use them if you're having some trouble here.
Yeah, fair enough. So something what I'm seeing here, if I'm reading this graph correctly, is something like the helper, when under stress, will tend to be more of the challenger, right?
Right.
So they'll lean into that protecting of themselves aspect of it. But when they're in a healthier mindset, they're actually more inclined to be like the investigator.
Ah, fair enough.
So they'll ask questions and they'll explore, right? And all while still maintaining that helper mentality, because that's the core aspect of the personality.
Sure.
So with that in mind, I find it interesting that the challenger, when under stress, would actually lean into the investigator. But when in a healthier mindset, would become like the enthusiast.
Okay. Yeah.
So, just random stuff.
Yeah, of course.
So, just, I don't know how that relates to these characters, but I just find that interesting.
Yeah, one of the other interesting things about the Enneagram, and one of the reasons I quite like it, is because it's very subjective, and, you know, psychiatric tests tend to be that way. If you've done any training, like, you understand it's about how they are evaluated and how useful it is to whoever is taking it, or to the person evaluating them. And, you know, the more mechanical you get, like if you're testing for specific conditions, the more definite you can be, like they exhibit these symptoms. But something like a personality type, it's about what works for you. You know, what is part of your narrative about yourself, that kind of thing.
And that perception, because it really is about your own perception of your personality.
This is a cool little tunnel. Just avoid the laser beams here.
Ooh, that's a little trippy.
Yeah, a little crazy looking.
We're going down to the core of the Death Star.
Yup.
It's a good thing you're not flying the Millennium Falcon again.
It's silence you.
All right, so sidetracking again.
You could tell I'm not, because I'm not smacking into the wall and dying over and over.
Yes. Anybody who played any of the Rogue Squadron games in the GameCube version, when they released Rogue Squadron 3, you could co-op the Rogue Squadron 2 story in Rogue Squadron 3. So Dan and I, back when we were in college, were running through the story, and one of the missions, like the final mission in the co-op, is the Death Star 2 run, and your options are the Millennium Falcon or an X-Wing. And because I was first player, Dan ended up with the Millennium Falcon. We learned very quickly that probably wasn't for the best.
Yeah.
Lots of really tight corridors.
That's some difficult.
That's a big ship.
Yeah.
So, and we died in that mission, like, I don't know, 20 times or something stupid.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then finally we were just like, you know what? Let's just switch.
Let's swap.
Let's switch it around.
Immediate improvement. Yeah.
Right. Still died like another 6-7 times, but
yeah, definitely.
We got further, and where we were dying was on the return from exploding the core versus just trying to get to it.
Yeah. Really great game, but you gotta. I want to try it again at some point and see if, you know, maybe I'm a little better at it. But yeah, it's a great game, but that is a tough one.
Yeah, it's just hard because it's so much wider, and so you have to slow down and then boost in a lot of different places. And with how sharp some of those turns are, you have to literally rotate the Falcon and then go up or down versus just moving left or right.
Yeah. So
it was a mess.
Not one of my skills.
Right. I'm surprised it was one of mine. All right, so ones we haven't touched yet: the Reformer, which is a Type 1. Reformers are known for being logical and virtuous hard workers who often suppress their true desires.
Sure.
They have a deep need to be good, right, and even perfect, prioritizing morality and ethics. They can also be idealistic about the future and making the world a better place.
So, Billy?
Yes. 100%.
Yep.
All right, we did the Helper. Oh, no, we haven't. I don't think we actually identified the Helper, did we? Oh, no.
No,
Ellie.
It's Ellie.
Ellie was...
Yeah, definitely Ellie.
The Achiever was Ramses, which is a Type 3. All right, so Type 4 is an individualist. According to the Enneagram systems, are independent.
System blocks all angel damage. So if you get one of those and you're having trouble, there you go. Go ahead.
Nice. Individualists, according to the Enneagram system, are independent and free-spirited, but this also means they often feel misunderstood by everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
These people are the seekers of the bunch, unafraid to ask deep questions about their purpose, identity, and overall life. Imaginative, deep thinkers, and sometimes melancholic, this type is also known to isolate themselves.
Interesting.
In terms of wings, a 4 with 3 wing will be more inclined to share their individuality with others, while a 4 with 5 wing will be more reserved and express the individuality through creative pursuits.
Right. I don't know on that one. What was the name of it again? The Individualist?
Individualist, yeah. That one's a tough one.
Yeah.
And there may not be one. That's just what it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to think here. I think you're right on with Bart, with the Enthusiast, but he's got a little bit of that type thing. I don't know. Choo Choo is type 4. How about that?
Yeah, right. And we're going by just party members because I feel like Sigurd would probably fit the Individualist pretty well.
Oh, yeah. I could see it.
Especially considering he reserves his secrets, like him being the son of the Fatima king, half brother.
Yes.
Bart. So we covered Investigator, that was Krellian. The Loyalist. All right, so the Loyalist, type 6, they prioritize feeling safe and secure in the world. They always look out for how things could go wrong, so they get a reputation for being scaredy cats. But in truth, they can actually be quite brave when it really counts, especially with regard to a cause that they care about. They are loyal, albeit a bit anxiety-ridden.
Mason.
Hammer to a point.
Hammer, yeah.
Oh, Hammer. Sadness.
Yes, indeed. Poor Hammer. So there is a little bit of maze-like stuff going on here. I'm not even going to try to explain this. I recommend, if you are confused here, go to a FAQ and just follow the steps. The FAQ we're using is a good solid one. It is just a matter of rotating and moving things around. This is also one of the reasons why it's a little bit of a hassle if you need to like leave and come back to do the battle arena stuff, because you're going to have to go back through all of this stuff. So, I'll leave it to you. I'm literally just going step by step here. There isn't a lot of good treasure in here, so if you just kind of wander around. I have been lost in this dungeon for hours before, though, so I really do recommend grabbing a map. Or if you just want to kind of explore it, go for it. It is possible to logic this dungeon out. It's just very big, so.
Yeah. All right. That's all I found here for the different numbers. Triads are worth pointing out, though. So, just like the last little bit for the Enneagram, the 9 personality types are kind of divided into 3 triads or like categories, which relate to your instinct of which relate to our instincts. Knowing your triad helps you understand your motivation, drive, style, or social interaction, and how you may cope with stress. So there are heart types. So types 2, 3, and 4 are the heart types, right? So they deal with their experience of shame, how they deny, control, or express those feelings of worth and shame from a feeling or heart-centered place.
Okay. So
your empathic people, like highly empathic people, are probably heart-type personalities.
Margie.
Yes, absolutely. Then you've got your head types, also known as thinking triad types. Types 5, 6, and 7 are those who deal with the experience of fear through analysis, distraction, flight, or withdrawing themselves. So people like Seitan,
yes,
would easily be a head type.
And
then you've got body or gut types. So types 8, 9, and 1 make up the gut types and are known to have strong gut feelings that deal with their expression, repression, denial, and anger.
Okay.
So Bart, Rico, Faye.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, anybody can be any one of these at any point, just depending on how you're being. Which that's to your point, right? Because again, personality tests are really about your perception of yourself,
Right.
and how to address those issues. People change over time, so right now I might lean more to a 2, but perhaps as I learn more about myself, I become more inclined to think that I'm more like a 5 or something, which I don't think is going to happen. I'm such a hardcore 2, but but as an example,
Right.
yeah, the real thing is if you learn from it and you can allow yourself to grow and become better from it, then it's a helpful tool.
Yeah, I mean that's that entire categorization system to a T, right? Like it's all about like what does it mean to you? How does it make your life better? If it doesn't, discard it.
Right.
I find it very interesting, personally.
Yeah, I think that's why I like the Enneagram types a little bit more than other types of just describing
INFP,
personalities.
MBTI style stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I think MBTI has its purposes, but I think Enneagram is just broad enough to be a more helpful encompassing of perception.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
Wasn't prepared to be getting into the Enneagram and a Xenogears playthrough, but here we are.
Yep. I mean, it very much, I feel, is how these characters are. And, it's really useful from the perspective of, if you're writing fiction and you really want to give your characters a lot of texture, this is a pretty good way to do it. It's solid in my opinion, anyway. And, yeah, I mean, there are other methods, of course, and sometimes I have seen kind of shadows of this in other games, and certainly in the other Xeno games, I think there is an attempt to use some of these traits, but they're a little bit different. But never have I seen it so stark as in this game, and it's not something I ever really understood when I first played it. And so, seeing those personality types and then reflecting on these characters is just, oh yeah, this is very, like, it's not the only defining attribute of them, but it's very much what they were based on, which,
Right.
very interesting, very cool. There's a reason this is one of my favorite games of all time.
Okay, so I'm seeing these enemies. Have they all been somewhat translucent?
Yeah, well, most of them. There are a couple of, like, little robots. But for the most part, they are translucent. There are a lot of angels in here, seraph angels.
Why are they translucent?
I'm not sure. I think it's part of... Excuse me. I think it's part of the way they were transformed, basically. I don't know that there's a mechanical reason given why they are translucent like that. But, it's sort of an evolution of the Malak Angel. Is it Pilot Shield? It's the last treasure in here. Yeah, it is. They have an interesting design to them. And if you recall the angels with, like, the single wing when we were descending into Merkava also were a little bit translucent.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but they're also, like, weirdly mechanical, and I think it's because of the merge of kind of the Deus system with the nanomachines. They're just evolving in that way. That's how it seems to me, anyway.
Yeah, that's fair. Wow, I can see how this would be easy to get turned around in, now that I'm looking at the map.
Oh, yeah, it is very confusing. I think I need to go this way. Yeah, there's no dungeon in this game like it. It is very, very confusing, especially if you're not really paying a lot of attention and you're just wandering. Like, it's just one of those, where am I going? Yeah, this particular enemy has quite a lot of HP.
Yeah.
Still getting lots of health. I think it's very possible to hit 99 in this game without much trouble, but I've never done it. The most I'll do is make sure Faye hits level 80 somewhere on disc 2. If I haven't done a lot of grinding, I'll just do it before I'm doing Doom and Isle or while I'm doing Doom and Isle, and then just kind of move on there. I've taken a pretty direct route here. Yeah, I think we just head this way.
It's what it looks like if my orientation is right.
I'm gonna go down this thing. It's pretty linear if you line it up right, but you got to make sure to hit the switches correctly. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to get out of the maze, and you just kind of keep going in circles and, you know, screaming, "Why?" Down here.
Why?
Have I gotten turned around? Am I about to begin yelling? All right, where does exit 7 go?
Okay, well.
Exit 7 goes to... Welcome to Disorientation, Xenogears Edition.
Right.
Yeah, this is why I was saying just use the FAQ, because it is real confusing otherwise. All right, well, we are closing in on the final confrontation. I actually thought we would need a little bit more time to handle the side quests, but we've handled the side quests and the final dungeon. I'm just about to go through the last bit of it here, assuming we have gotten our navigation correct. So, you have any other thoughts or declarations on lore here? Or general story, narrative, characters? There's a lot.
Yeah, not directly at the moment. Like, there's a lot. I would say the majority of the processing has been done along in tandem with the export or the revelation of these things.
Yeah.
So, really breaking down anything new, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
New to kind of contribute. I'm sure if we end up doing some kind of retrospective analysis or something at some point, there would probably be some room for additional thought processes. But
yeah, so that
I'm thinking is at the point where it's going to have to sit with me for a while before I start going, oh, you know what? What about this thing?
Right. Yeah. One of the things that is very common among all the Xeno games is the second time through is extremely, like, it's almost necessary for full processing because they're so intricate and so detailed. Like, even some simple detail like, oh yeah, in the sewers, the green versus red screen was like, what? My head is exploding, you know? Right. And there's so much you're able to process when your eyes are open, really. You know, you're seeing, oh, Halo Angel attack. Ah.
Destructo disc. Good gracious.
Very destructive looking.
Yeah, it does a lot of damage too.
Yep. That can be negated by the anti-angel system or drastically reduced by the angel ARs. I believe the angel AR +1s we've been getting are like 50%. So, you know, if you are getting kind of destroyed by these enemies, consider using those accessories. They're pretty good. Okay, so hopefully this should be it. Right here. No, it is not. I made a mistake.
Is there a switch that hasn't been hit?
Probably. Gonna have to do a little backtracking and figure that out. Exit 8 goes where exactly?
So, my first experience with the Xeno series is Xenosaga, right?
Mm-hmm. That was you saw like a portion of it.
Yeah, I've never finished it, but I saw
episode 1.
I haven't watched all of it. I want to say I played through maybe the first quarter to a half of it.
Mm-hmm.
At one point. And so these ethereal angels,
they look familiar, don't they?
Well, all I can think about is the Gnosis, right?
Gnosis.
Because like even though the Gnosis are wildly different designed,
mm-hmm.
their whole shtick is that you can't hit them in a physical plane without a specific field. I think that like makes them solid.
It's the Hilbert effect.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this makes me think of. So I'm like, why are they translucent? Why are we able to hit them?
Yeah. Because this is not Xenosaga. That's
exactly.
Yeah. That was definitely a later development in kind of the lore. But Xenosaga is, and this is probably a good chance to kind of look forward a little bit here, because I know there has been some in the comments, some interest in the Xenoblade Chronicles, and I certainly have some interest in doing that. Xenosaga, I have... Oh, I see what's going on here. I need to flip it back, don't I?
Yeah, probably. And then flip it on your way back out.
Right. That is crazy that is something that got missed that way. Okay, well, I'm gonna head up. So
because we're too busy talking.
Yeah. So Xenosaga is certainly something I would be willing for us to cover on this channel. It is interesting. So Xenosaga is very much, after Takahashi and his team founded Monolith Soft, Xenosaga was the new effort to express and basically explain and use the Perfect Works universe to tell a new story. So it is a distinct story from Xenogears. It's not just a retelling of Xenogears. So there are a lot of things that get used. Okay, is this the... No. You see, I pressed number 4 already. Okay.
Okay.
Anyways, we'll keep kind of poking around here, but you know what it might be? It might be I have to rotate that bridge back and then leave or something.
Maybe.
It's hard to visualize. But anyway, back to what I was saying about Xenosaga. It certainly is a very similar expression of the Perfect Works universe as Xenogears. So a lot of things are going to sound oddly familiar if you have played Xenogears. You know what I think I need to do? I think I figured this out. Hold on a second. Let me just go up here.
You need to eat a sandwich.
I do need to eat a sandwich. All that said, I don't feel a need to play them in strict order. So, if there's more interest in Xenoblade, like we could just do that. That is perfectly fine with me. So, if you guys would like us to cover that, definitely, feel free to hit the comments. We're probably going to take a break from Xeno-style games for a little bit and play some other things. Our poll is currently showing Persona 3 Reload, so I believe that's what we're headed toward next for our main series, once Xenogears is completed. But if there is interest in Xenosaga, I absolutely would be willing to play that. You may hear me have mental issues processing things as we're doing that, because Xenosaga is its own brand of... There is a lot to it, and there is a lot of... We'll call it creative changes that occurred during its development. So it had a very... We'll call it an interesting type of development that makes it hard to handle sometimes. More difficult than this game, I would say, in some ways. And so, I always want to give credit where credit's due. I always want to make sure, we're not just saying, oh, this game, Yeah, I'm not the type to say this game is good, this game is bad. What I am willing to do is have a discussion about it. And even if I don't personally like every single decision, I think it's important to explore why and why that might not land for some people and why it does for others. And there's other aspects, like what is this game saying values wise? What is this, and you can ask that about media in general. What is being stated? What am I being asked to agree with? How didactic, which, like what kind of lesson is it trying to give me, and am I on board with that? I think that's a valid question too, for sure. Whether Xenosaga does that or not is kind of up to the viewer, I think. Myself as a viewer, I think it may have some things to say that I'm not particularly a big fan of, but that is okay as well. While going through this passage, if you played this game, talking to the viewers here, if you played this game, if you played Xenosaga, if you played Xenoblade, and you feel strongly about it, and you kind of want to see us explore them, we hear you. I think we've already seen some recommendations of, hey, you guys should really get to Xenoblade. It's my understanding that it started to kind of integrate in a lot of the Perfect Works material, which is very interesting to me. They're also very different. They're kind of represent, my understanding is, they represent Monolith Soft's new direction after Xenosaga, because Xenosaga did not do well commercially, particularly in the West. And so there's some call for like a remaster, and there's I would like one, because for all of the things that drive me crazy about it, I do greatly enjoy Xenosaga in a lot of ways. So yeah, I think we're definitely willing to cover that. That may be we're not going to cover them all in a row type thing. I don't think we'll be able to do that. We'll need to swap between games, but
I would lose my mind if we did all three back to back.
Yeah, that's understandable, and yeah, just with all the heavy content there and everything. So yeah,
keep heading north. Oh no, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, this will go over to 1.
Yep.
But yeah, Xenoblade, I think, just from what I know of it, it's got kind of this light and airy atmosphere at the beginning, but trust me, I know it's a Xeno game. That's not all there is to it, so not a fan of it. Here we go.
Wow.
Oh boy. All right, now we got to go all the way back.
Sure do.
I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, when you leave this dungeon and come back, you have to do all this crap again. So
yes,
we are not going to subject you guys to that. Let's see.
I'm not even subjecting them to all of this right now. I can guarantee you there's cuts between finding switches and what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we go up here.
The guide. It's talking about how, like, if you want to go back at this point, when you get to the exit, you can, because, like you were talking about, gives you El Regulus.
Yep.
And the Gear 2 difficulty.
Yes.
Anyway, this is Elheim's Omnigear she fought Krellion's Goonies with, and it's pretty swizz, if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
All capitals. You will have to replay the dungeon if you leave, so don't make goofy mistakes if you don't even care.
Right. Yeah, so I may do that. I have not decided yet. If I do, it's going to be probably to do some sort of exhibition of what El Regulus looks like, but really it's more of the same of the battling arena, so, may not even be worth bothering with at this point. But one thing you may want to do if you were having trouble and you didn't want to like grind for money or anything like that is you can go and run Battle Arena 2, get those points, and grab a GNRS 50 for one of your gears. If you're only getting one, I recommend you put it on Xenogears, because you can really get some good power output out of it, and it's hyper mode combos and things like that. So In my opinion, that would be good. But, you know, equip it where you want. Honestly, the first time I beat this game, I did not have optimized equipment. I didn't even have Big Joe's equipment. I couldn't afford it. I just went with it. I went with the X78,000 engine, the best frames I could find, and, like, I think I even did, like, just the 60-25 armor. That was fine. So, you will be fine even if you're not optimizing like I am. I just love doing it. So, you know, it's there for you. And even if you want to do the crazy, powerful Omega 100 engine, you can do that. The other thing we are going to do here is we are going to take the opportunity to power up Choo Choo. Choo Choo will have her moment to shine. So if you're a big fan of Choo Choo, her moment is nearly here.
Nice.
Yep.
Huzzah.
Victory. All right. So
Victory.
we've corrected the error. Now we're to the end of the dungeon here.
Go.
Jump in the gate.
Okay, here we go.
Geronimo. All right.
More Death Star trench runs.
Yep. And
or
just
something.
Yeah, just avoid the lasers here. You will take damage if you hit them. It's not even a lot of damage, and there's a repair bot at the end, so if you don't feel like messing with this, literally just let the stick sit in the center of the screen. Doesn't matter.
It's cool though.
Yeah. I made it to a very familiar looking area.
Oh yeah.
And remember, this was made out of Merkava, so we still have part of that intact. And it's laid out pretty much the same way. So there is a gearbot, and we have a save point here, which this is the final save point I was talking about. So you leave the dungeon from here. There is an exit off to the side. You can leave the final dungeon without a problem, and that will unlock the rest of the battle arena for you. Alright, so we got save and party change over here. I'm going to go pop over here and talk with the repair bot. Looks like the shaft connects to the outside. We could probably get out through here. What would you like? Yeah, so go outside. If you pick it, will allow you to leave the dungeon. Go ahead and repair all our gears here. We should be in pretty tip-top shape. And I am going to make sure of all of the equipment before we proceed. We should be in very solid shape at this point for dealing with the end of the game. So, yeah. Oh, excuse me. Join us next time, and thanks for hanging with us, however that ended up looking. Going through the final dungeon, Deus. Now
a lot better for them than it will for us. I'm going to tell you that much.
Yeah, absolutely. Next time is going to be the final boss. If you've fought the final boss of this game before, I believe we're going to do the more extended version. More on that next time, though. And yeah, we may kind of extend it as much as we can because there's quite a lot still to deal with, but this is pretty much the end of the game. Final save point, the final boss is up next. So yeah, thank you all for joining us. Thank you so much for hanging with us through this playthrough. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you enjoyed the long videos, sometimes very long, of going through the complex story and these great characters, and very, very convoluted, complex, and brilliant narrative, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's been a journey. I don't usually use that word for narratives very often.
Right.
But I don't know how else to describe this.
Yeah.
It's been really good. Very interesting, a little mind-boggling. Definitely left me thinking a lot. I'll be mulling over its concepts for a while, I'm sure.
Oh, yes.
So to say that it's been a journey, I think is the safest way to say it.
Yeah.
If you have enjoyed what you've been watching, we love your support and would love to see it through all the buttons and through comments. Just letting us know your thoughts on the story so far at this point. I don't know if spoilers are a huge concern, but just to be on the safe side, no spoilers about the final fight.
Yeah.
Anything up to this point, it'd be great. Or, if you just want to let us know that you watched it and have nothing else to say, your favorite dessert
There you go.
in the comments. Yeah. So,
comment like your choo-choo. I don't know. Something.
like, right. Let us know that you are watching. Anyway,
That's right.
Yeah, and check out our other stuff. We've got, Skies of Arcadia, and we've got our tea time videos, and we've got stuff going to be rolling out after Xenogears. We've already got plans that we're excited to implement.
Very, very much so. It's going to be great. I'm really
Right.
looking forward to the next game.
Yeah, so please just kind of keep your eyes on it. And yeah, more than anything, just thanks for hanging out with us. We love having you here. And we will see you all in the next video.
Thanks again, everybody. See you next time. Join us next time for the finale.
Bye-bye now.
Diddly diddly do 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 do. Thanks for watching.